all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you all?
Fine, ma'am.
Super.
So this
How
shall
are you,
we
ma'am?
start? Yeah, I'm fine too. How is it at home? Better or in the classes?
In the classes, ma'am.
Classes,
Mm.
ma'am.
Yeah, everyone feels the same thing. Even we have that kind of rapport, no, with the students. When we look at each other and we talk, it feels lively. But through the camera, the distance we'll feel all this. So I'll just share the slides with you. Yesterday we did what do you call
Vocabulary.
vocabulary? Yes, very good. Vocabulary and word formation we did, isn't it? So word formation, we talked about some 6 methods wherein through which we bring in new words into the vocabulary, right? So this I'll share with you. Can you see the slides? Word formation process. Yeah. Uh, it's in semantics. It is creation of a new word. How we create new words into the from the dictionary. We insert the words in the dictionary and also use them in our conversation or in written languages. The process of forming new words from old words or from grouping those words with the same root, or sometimes the root also changes. So these are the main types of the process is additive process, subtractive process, and sometimes the meaning also changes. I talked to you about some words in the earlier classes that in earlier days they were meaning something else, now they mean something else, isn't it? So this additive process is a collection of this compounding, blending, affixation. This is another a broad perspective of the suffix, prefix, and affix. Okay, we'll talk about that also in detail. Yesterday, I told you about derivation, isn't it? How we derive words from the main root word. Then we also have back formation and root creation. These are some of the types of compounding the words. Okay, it consists of 2 more free morphemes or words consisting of free morphemes. This like the blackbird, clockwork, light bulb, notebook, bittersweet, hallmark, like these. These are the compounding words. It's the strongest process of word formation because we are forming footpath. I gave you the example yesterday. Blackbird, bluebird, white whale. Okay, sidewalks, like these. We form words. The 2 words mean something else, but when they are brought together, they have a different new concept. Like side means something else when you take the meaning of the word side. Walk means something else. That is a verb. You are doing walking. Moving on your leg. But when side and walk is brought together, it means something different. The path that is given near the road is called the sidewalk. That's why this is the strongest process of word formation, because by combining 2 words together, you make a new word. Okay, so compounding in all the word formation, compounding is the most strongest of all the word formation. In English, when two words are of different grammatical categories, the class of the second or the final word becomes the category of the compound, like the blackbird I told you. Compound formed with a preposition are in the category of the non-propositional part of the compound. Example, undertake, uphill. These are some of the words. Undertake. Under is something else when it means the word under, below, or the cat is under the table. It is sitting below. But take, take is something else. You take the book from the table. But when these two words are combined together, they mean something else in a propositional or a non-propositional format, and they are together compound. Undertake, uphill. Okay, and then comes blending. Are you able to see the screen? I mean, see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, something less than a compound. This blending is also an important part of it, but it is following the compounding. I gave you yesterday the example of smoke plus fog, that becomes smoke. Hotel plus motor, this is motor, motel. Brunch, breakfast plus lunch. If you skip your breakfast and you take a early lunch, you call it the brunch. Parts of two or more different words join. Usually first part of word and second part of the other is combined together. And another formation is the back formation. A new word is created by removing what is mistakenly considered to be an affix. Affixes are the, maybe sometimes they are letters that are added before the root word, or they are sometimes added after the root word. So they are called prefixes and suffixes. Like you can see edit from editor. The second part, that is the or, has been taken away, and edit his the word over here. Edit from editor, pedal from peddler, enthuse from enthusiasm, orientate from orientation. These are some of the back formation words that we take from the original word. The one who edits something or writes something is the editor. Peddler, the one who pedals his cycle, becomes the peddler. Enthusiast, very happy to find out. Orientate, from the word orientation. It's like that. Just now I told you about affixation. A bound morpheme is added with another morpheme. That is prefixation, suffixation, and infixation. This is actually adding prefix itself is a very good example of a prefix. Adding a few letters to the root word is a prefix. Pre, you should remember that word, pre, and suff is after. So a few letters are added to the root word, that is called a suffix. Infixation, if both are done, it is called infixation. Like happy, unhappy, unhappiness is the very good example of that. Then we have the derivational affixes attaches to the base form of a word to create a new word. Verb to noun, preserve to preservation, verb to verb, appear to disappear, verb to adjective, word to boring, adjective to noun, ugly to ugliness. Certain words change like this. For example, they are giving preserve. If you want to preserve something, that is the verb that you are doing. You're preserving some vegetable as in the form of a pickle. Okay. And you are changing it to the noun, adding shun to it, preservation. You are adding some letters to the word preserve. Then from the verb to the another verb is appear, disappear. Fear, fearful. From early Like that. Verb to adjective. Bore, boring. Did I bore you? It was a boring movie. It was a boring program. Adjective to noun. How is it looking? How is the picture? It is an ugly picture. Okay. To changing it to the noun. The ugliness of the picture was hidden. Like that. Root creation. The root creation of a new root, base, or simple word. Rare compared with compounding and derivation. Echoism, neologism, onomatopoeia, or are some of the types of root creation. This These are also the method. Echoism, neologism. We talked about that. Onomatopoeia are some of the types of root creation. The creation of new root base or simple word. That is another way of doing it is the subtractive process. Subtractive process of doing that. Here you see acronym. We studied about acronyms in detail yesterday. Okay. Are new words formed from the initial letters of a set of other words. I told you about how we are pronouncing. I gave you the example of also NASA, like here radar, CD, compact disc. We are pronouncing it as CD, but we are not making it making it another word. We are pronouncing it as any other alphabet. Okay, video cassette recorder, radar. It's not a radar is not a word, but it is an acronym. Radio detection and ranging. Human immunodeficiency syndrome (HIV) virus. ATM, automated teller machine. These are some of the words examples that have been given. Clipping occurs when a word with more than one syllable is reduced to a shorter form, like the gasoline, TV, we say, or fridge, refrigerator, advertise, advertisement, or just the ad. Lab, laboratory, telephone, phone, examination, exam. These are the smallest way of doing. So the word becomes short and it is called clipping. Clipping of the word. Then we have the clipping, back clipping, fore clipping, middle clipping, and compile clipping. Here we have a word or a phrase is shortened, like I told you for exam, examination, gasoline, gas, or centimeters, centi. Okay, largely a convention of written language. Sometimes abbreviations carry over into spoken language. APR, April. Department, DP, DEPT, department. Doctor, DR. Like that. Centimeter or cm for centimeters. Then meaning change. Another way of adding words, new words to the language is by generification, by changing the meaning, meaning change, category change, metaphorical extension. Then we have the coinage, reconstruction and addition of new words. Words created from scratch or derived from names of individuals, places, or product names. I gave you the example of yesterday of photocopying. When you're trying to take a photocopy uh, of a paper, you say, get it xeroxed, go get it xeroxed. But it is not the word. It is the, it is the name of the company. It is the product name. Sometimes they say, get me some Kleenex. That is the tissue paper. The name of the company has gained its momentum. So they use that word. Reconstruction and addition of new words. Words created from scratch or derived from the names of individuals, places, or product name. Coinage is the invention of totally new terms, like trade names of commercial products that become general terms or eponyms. Aspirin, like the tablet aspirin. This is not a new word. Kleenex, I told you. Teflon, Xerox. Teflon is the coating that comes on your utensils. You must have had in your kitchens that coating that comes. It is the company name, but we say it is Teflon coated. Why don't you take an aspirin for that is the name of the commercial product that has come. Now, words based on the names of a person or a place, like Hoover, jeans, sandwich. These are the names that have come into the language from the names of the person or the place. Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, it is the name of the place from where that person has. But everywhere throughout the world, we have uh, KFC outlets. So they are by the name of that person. Then coinage is the invention of a totally new terms, the trade names of commercial products that become the general terms of eponyms. Okay, these are Hoover, jeans, sandwich. Okay, these are the some of the things that we have to know about word formation. The concept of word formation in linguistics is the creation of a new word. We must always remember this. Word formation is the uh, creation of a new word. Whenever we are creating a new word, adding a new word to the dictionary, we call it the concept of word formation. So we will talk about the main 5 derivation: compounding, blending, acronyms, loan words, neology. Okay, some of the loan words that we talked about are Adam's apple. This some people have a kind of uh, like here uh, like a hump, camel's hump over here. That is called the Adam's apple. To buy is another a separate word. Heart is a separate word. But when we bring these two words together, by heart, you learn something by heart. Okay, when you are trying to learn something, it becomes by heart that answer, by heart that poem, we say. No, staircase, stair is stair is something else, case is something else, but when they are brought together, it becomes a new concept wherein we climb the stairs. Marriage of convenience, this is a concept that has been brought up by the very strict rules of immigrations. The some of the countries, western countries have, so they have marriage of convenience. Point of view, another example is point of view. Point is one word, off is another letter, and then we have view, the view that we have or a glance that we throw. That becomes my point of view, my point of view towards the society, the new society, towards our culture, towards the western culture, like that. And the word pineapple has been taken from Dutch. Antibody from German. Scapegoat from Hebrew. Who's is open? J4. Mute your audio, please. J4. J4. I'll put you absent if you open your. J4. Rest in peace. It's from Latin. Muscle from musculus also is from Latin. Killer whale is from Spanish. Then we talked about the root words from foreign languages and their uses in English. English has been called one of the most difficult languages for non-native speakers to learn. One reason is that English has so many rules and almost as many exceptions of these rules. You might also have uh, heard from people that English is a very people regard English as a very funny language as well, and it is also the most difficult language for people of who are non-native speakers. It is combining or comforting to know that learning root words can also help a non-native speaker use English properly. That is why another reason that English is hard to learn is that the pronunciation of words cannot always be predicted by their spelling. You might be having some silent letters in the word. When you say psychology, for example, when you read the word psychology, psychology, sometimes the word C sounds as ka, depending on the mm, prefix and its suffix. What is the word that is followed in or it is followed by? Usually G also. Plague, GUE. GUE. If when you are using it with argue, it becomes RGUE sound. Argue it becomes. Sir, I am taking the class. I'll call you back. Comforting to know that learning root words can help a native speaker use English. A root word is the most basic form of a word. Root words can help you to break down large or new words into smaller units to discover their meanings. Then we have just learning one root word can help you understand several words in English. So by learning just 20 or 30 root words, you can expand your English vocabulary to include hundreds of new words. Like root word can be any part or parts of words that carries meaning, the beginning, middle, or end. That is the prefixes, bases, and suffixes are types of roots. The prefix appears at the beginning of the word, and the base, the middle, and the suffix at the end. The base word that you are adding, some letters that you are adding in the middle of the word, that is the root word, that is called the base. But if you are adding some letters to the root word in the beginning, that is called a prefix. And if you are adding some letters at the end of the root word, then it is called a suffix. So these are the three types: prefix, base, and suffix. These are the three types. Okay. Most English root words come from the Greek and Latin languages because these are the ancient languages. These words have been taken from there. One useful method for building vocabulary through root word is to first look at a base word and then look for familiar prefixes and suffixes that go with that base. The base word is, for example, struct. It comes from the Latin word meaning build, structure. So we here struct with relate to building. The word has come from Latin and it means building, to build or build. Uh, the struct word will relate to building, developing or creating something. By itself, struct is not a word, but it is the basis for more than 30 words in English, like construct, to, though it is the verb to build, to build. The prefix cons means together. So build together. That a new word has been formed by the letter struct, which means to which means build, just build. But when cons, a prefix is added to that, construct means to bring together, to build or to create something new. Root word is struct, suffix is, and when you are adding ion, for example, you are making it a noun, then a suffix is added to the root word struct. Construction. That is the adding suffix or constructing, makes constructing. This is the gerund and has a similar meaning in the noun construction. Constructing is the gerund and noun form is the construction. Now let's build into onto constructive. Adding suffix to ly, constructively. Adding a suffix ly becomes or adverb. It produces an adverb. It means doing something in a way that is helpful. Constructively. There are many other words that the base word struck produces. For instance, destruction. It is the opposite of construction. If you have constructed something, the noun, the work has happened, and now you demolish that structure. That destruction has done. So, from the word struct, construct has come. Noun has been added. Construction, constructive. Another word by adding the suffix ive, a new word has been formed, constructive. And an adverb has also been formed by just adding ly to the root word by adding prefix to the base as well as the suffix, and again an additional suffix constructive to the word struct. Cons is added, construct. Shun has happened, suffix has been added. Then constructive is made. Another suffix has been added. Then one more suffix to the already suffix is constructively. Destruction is the opposite of construction. By adding a, by just changing the letter. Again, this is back. What did we say that previously? Back writing. And then with the construct, we have many suffixes to instruct, to get several more words to suffixes. ION can be added, ING can be added, IVE, ING plus ling, LY, that is adverbial clause, and IVE plus negative IVE plus LY. So you see, by knowing just one root word struct, you can get a better idea of the meaning of at least 15 words in English language. It is the basic unit. A root is the basic unit of a word. It is the form of a word after all suffixes are removed. Affixes are removed. Suffixes or prefixes are removed from that, and when you have the pure word, that is called the root word. It is what's left after you remove all the affixes, the prefixes like un, anti, suffixes like able and shun. And there are many roots word that can be used on their own or as part of the other common words in the English language, like act. Act is the root word, means to do, move or do, like acting, action, promotion. If you are adding one prefix act, acting, ing. If you are adding a prefix gerund is being added, it becomes acting. An actor. If you are adding or, a suffix is being added, then you have the actor. Ego, egotist, egocentrism, egoistic. Legal, illegal. Normal, normality. Phobia, claustrophobia. You can name a number of them are there. Phobias are there. Claustrophobia, fear means fear, fear of closed places. Gynophobia, fear of ladies, like fear of closed spaces. These are the fears that are related to uh, many fears. Scent, to feel, send, consent. Root words from foreign languages are amble, for example, means they also have amble, ambulant, ambulate, move or walk. Amble, ambulant, ambulance, ambulate. Auto means self or same, autocrat, automatic. Bin means good, benefactor, benevolent, beneficiary. Cardio, that is related to heart, something related to the heart. Cardiovascular, cardiology, like that. Seed means go, yield, intercede, recede, concede, precede. Counter meaning against or opposite. Counter, counteract, counterpoint, counter argument. Okay. Then derm means skin, dermatology, epidermis. Equi means equal, equity, equilateral, equidistant. Hypno means sleep, hypnosis, hypnotic. Intra means within or into, intrapersonal, interpersonal, intramural, intravenous. That is which is within or into. Ject means to throw, reject, eject, inject. Mal means bad, malignant, malfunction, malice. Omni means omnipotent, omnipresent, omnivorous. Being meaning all. Poly means many, polygamous, polychrome, polytheist. Script means to write, manuscript, postscript. Sect means cut, interest, dissect. Section means see, envision, evident. Okay, these are some of the words that we add as, these are the affixes that we have learned. So we are adding them as prefixes or suffixes. We have some around 10 words for that. Shall we go through that? Acquaintance with prefixes. Alter meaning other, alternate. Amicable, amphibian, anthropology, aquarium, audio, biography. To take or seize control of, capsize. Cap meaning capsizing. Carn meaning meat, carnivorous. A crocodile is a carnivorous animal. Crone meaning time, chronicle. Cognitive. Cred, belief, credibility. Die, God, deity. Demo meaning people, democracy. Dent means tooth, dentist, dental. Derm meaning skin, dermatology. Duo meaning two, dual, duet. Dynam, power, dynamo, dynamic. Ego egoistic, egocentrism. Okay, so from adjective to noun, we have some letters like slow, slowness, modernize in British English, modern, modernize. Okay, so we have these root words and their creation of the affixes, that is the prefixes and the suffixes. We'll tomorrow we'll see standard abbreviation. I think Thursday you don't have a class, right? Friday we have two classes. So maybe we'll go through this idioms and phrases. It's a very interesting and very small topic. We'll do it is important that you learn those idioms to sound like a native speaker, to add some meaning and make your conversation more interesting. You must know those idioms, and you must be able to know them. To know their relevance, what it means is very important. So to learn that, we need to go through it a very many times, so that you learn them and use them uh, in your sentences, in your communication on a daily basis. I think we have some 9 more minutes. We can even do that. English idioms, proverbs, and expressions are an important part of everyday English. They come up all the time in both written and spoken English. Because idioms don't always make sense literally, you will need to familiarize yourself with the meaning and usage of each idiom. They are expressions peculiar to the language. You must be having some in your mother tongue as well. Some idioms, some sayings which have been the sayings or the wise or the experienced people. These are the experienced sayings or the words of people of experience, who have gone through life's experiences and they know certain things. Wise men. An idiom is a phrase where the words together have a meaning that is different from the dictionary definitions of the individual words. It is similar to the compounding that we have done in root word formation. These are also some sayings, some words that have been brought up into one sentence, but they mean differently when you search for the dictionary. When you search for those words in the dictionary, they mean something else, but when you bring them into one sentence, they mean something else. That is called a idiom. An idiom is a phrase where the words together have a meaning that is different from the dictionary meaning of the individual words. English has thousands of idioms. Most of English idioms are informal. Idioms are a group of words used for more effective use of language. Idioms are the words or group of words used for more effective use of the language. These words are not interpreted by their literal meaning, but by their indicative meaning. We should not go when we are talking about idioms. We should be interested about what they mean actually, the hidden meaning behind that, as they are literal, as they are interpreted, or as they are meant by the idiom. It is not the literal meaning, but by their indicative meaning. What is it is indicative of that word. Their effective use brings the command over the language. If you use idioms in your conversation or in your writing, it is effective use of the, or you will be having a good command of the language if you do so. Okay. If someone says to you, I'm pulling your leg, you might think that it is strange, because you would definitely be able to feel if someone was holding your leg and pulling it. It is not the literal meaning. If I say that I'm trying to pull your leg, it doesn't mean that I'm literally pulling your leg, because you're not feeling it, the author says. But it is, this idiom means that they are teasing you or playing a joke on you, as the meanings are usually completely different to the meanings of the actual word. It can be exceedingly difficult to learn them. You need to learn them in the name, in the same way you learn new vocabulary. So it is not that if you learn one word, you think you know the meaning of the word and try to utilize that in your sentence. No, it can happen like that. You must know the meaning of, and you must know to properly put it into the place where it is required. A wrong placement of an idiom can spoil your reputation altogether. Okay. Like the example just now I gave you, I'm pulling your leg. It's selling like hotcakes. A bitter pill, a hot potato. A bitter pill is a situation, information that is unpleasant but must be accepted. Okay. So this idiom means that they are teasing you or playing a joke on you, as the meanings are usually completely different to the meanings of the actual words. It can be exceedingly difficult to learn them. Like nouns and verbs in English combination with proposition, adverbs, and other parts of speech constantly make idioms. The more it is increasingly used, the better will be one's command over the language. A bitter pill, a situation or information that is unpleasant but must be accepted. Achilles heel, a metaphor for a fatal weakness in spite of overall strength. At the drop of a hat, without any hesitation, instantly. Call it a day means to retire. Cheap as chips, inexpensive or of good value. A lazy person is a couch potato. Don't count your chicken before they hatch. That means, um, don't catch or don't count. These words may mean something different when you try to find their meaning in the dictionary, but when they are brought together in compiled together in a sentence, it has a different meaning. Fly in the ointment.